Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most exciting new theme park destinations out there, Universal's Epic Universe. If you're planning a visit and want to beat the crowds, cut your wait times, and unlock a smoother, more magical experience, you're in the right place. We've tested out a ton of tips and tricks firsthand, and in this video we're sharing what actually worked for us. So grab your walking shoes, charge your phone, and let's jump into the lands of Epic Universe. Alright, here's a game-changing tip if you're heading to Universal's Epic Universe, specifically SuperNintendoWorld. This is where most of the guests will rush during early entry to ride DonkeyKong Minecart Madness before the wait time shoots up to 240 minutes. Yes, 4 hours. Now, you might be tempted to head over to Stardust Racers instead. It's also open during early entry, but here's our honest advice: skip it for now. Even though Minecart Madness sometimes experiences extended downtime during early entry, it's worth the risk. Why? Because Stardust Racers typically maxes out around a 45-minute wait during peak hours. But Minecart Madness, it never drops below 45 minutes. Most of the day, it's double or triple that. So if you can get on it early, even with a gamble, you're winning big. As you enter the portal into SuperNintendoWorld, you'll take an escalator up to the second level. This area gets packed fast, with limited space on the escalator and tons of guests stopping for selfies and soaking in the view. If you want to get on the ride quickly and save the sightseeing for later, you've got 2 solid strategies. Follow the crowd through the portal and up the escalator. Once you hit the landing, you'll reach a split. Most people will instinctively turn right to go down the second set of stairs. But if you go left, you'll find a less congested path. This little detour can put you ahead of several parties and shave off a chunk of wait time. Want to bypass 50 to 100 people right off the bat? This move is for you. Just next to the main portal, by the Mario Brothers shop and water fountain, there's a side path. Follow it and it'll lead you straight to the exit doors of SuperNintendoWorld. Enter through there and boom, you're already on the ground level of the land. Head straight to the ride with almost no crowd in your way. Now, fair warning, you'll miss that epic grand reveal moment through the main portal. But if your goal is to ride Minecart Madness without burning half your day in line, this shortcut is a total win. The crowds thin out dramatically as the sun sets, so after you've conquered the coaster, make your way back into the land for a more relaxed visit later in the day. That's the perfect time to soak in all the amazing details, grab photos, and maybe even catch some rides again with a shorter wait.
Alright, let's head over to one of the most atmospheric areas in Epic Universe, Dark Universe. If you're planning to rope drop this land, here's what you need to know to stay ahead of the game. As soon as the gates open, you'll notice a huge line forming for Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein experiment. And when we say huge, we mean it. This line will wrap all the way around the back pathway and loop toward the central plaza or city center of the land. Along the way, you'll pass by some iconic locations, including the Curse of the Werewolf, Burning Blade Tavern, and DeLacy's Cottage. But here's where things can get tricky. If you're heading to Curse of the Werewolf instead of Frankenstein, it's super easy to get caught up in that long line and accidentally add 10 to 15 minutes to your wait. If the Curse of the Werewolf is your first stop, make sure to walk to the left side of the crowd forming for Frankenstein. There's an open path that lets you bypass that line entirely and get to the ride entrance much faster. Now while you're walking through, don't miss the Burning Blade Tavern. This dramatic fire effect usually happens every 15 minutes, but here's the catch: it's not always right on the clock. The best way to know it's about to happen? Listen for the music. As soon as you hear it start to build, get your camera ready, because the flames are about to fly. It's a really cool moment that adds even more atmosphere to an already immersive land. Next up, let's talk about one of the most immersive areas in Epic Universe, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic. Now here's the deal. While there isn't a ton to do in this land just yet, it still gets packed, especially around meal times and show releases. But don't worry, we've got some solid tips to help you stay ahead of the crowds and make the most of your visit. Eat early at Café L'Air de la Serene. This gorgeous cafe fills up fast. If you're planning to eat here, make it a priority to arrive before 11:30 a.m. Why? Around 12 p.m., Le Cirque Arcanu lets out, and a rush of guests will flood the cafe, adding 10 to 15 minutes of wait time just to grab a table. Arrive early, and you'll be able to walk right in without the hassle. Heading to Le Cirque Arcanu? Once the show opens, you'll be ushered into a large waiting room. Here's what to do. Stick to the right side of the room while you wait. As the crowd starts to move, hang back slightly. When the theater doors open, aim for a spot right in front of the sound booth. That's about 3 or 4 rows from the back. Trust us, the view and sound from here are chef's kiss. Cracking the virtual queue for Battle at the Ministry. Okay, this is the big one. How to snag a spot for Battle of the Ministry, the land's headline attraction. At the time of filming, this ride was only accessible via virtual queue, which opens 3 times daily, 11 a.m., 3 p.m., and 6 p.m. And listen, these passes are gone in under 5 seconds. So here's how to boost your odds. For the 11 a.m. drop, try from Dark Universe. There's less competition here because you must be physically inside the park to participate. For the 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. drops, be inside the Wizarding World, ideally in an open area with full cell service. Turn off the Wi-Fi, stand away from crowds, and have the Universal app already open to the party count screen before the drop hits. Here's a trick. If you don't get a pass at 11 a.m., keep the app open on the party size screen. This will hold your session and give you a slightly better position for the next drop. This is known as a session token. When the clock strikes 3 or 6, toggle quickly between 1 to 2 people more than your actual group size. So if you're a party of 2, flip between 3 and 4 until you see a time pop up. And here's the cool part. Don't worry if you get a pass for more people than your party. There are always tons of guests near the entrance hoping to join extra spots. You'll be a hero. Forgot to set a timer? Don't stress. At drop time you'll know, because 95% of the people around you will literally freeze mid-walk and stare at their phones. It's actually hilarious to witness. The 3 p.m. drop seems to be the easiest to land a pass. And even if you do get one to drop at 11 a.m., keep in mind the ride itself doesn't open until 3 p.m. Want to check out the Battle of Ministry queue without actually riding? You can. You're allowed to walk through the queue without a virtual pass, as long as you're not expecting to ride. Now you won't get the full magical pre-show experience like the Flu Network effect, but it's still worth it to soak in the incredible design and detail. If you do have a virtual queue return time, here's a heads up. The final 3/4 of the queue moves very quickly and is inaccessible unless you have a return window. You'll still have to wait about 30 minutes, but don't let the big opening room slow you down. Keep walking and enjoy the magic on the move. Being prepared prior will help you feel less overwhelmed with everything you are about to witness.
Our final portal is How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk. 2 of the most popular attractions here, Dragon Racer's Rally and Hiccup's Wing Gliders, can rack up some pretty hefty wait times. And the queues can get hot under the sun. But here's a smart move. Time your ride during stage shows or peak lunch hours. Crowds tend to shift toward food and entertainment during these windows, which can bring those wait times down to just 15 to 20 minutes. Check show schedules ahead of time and use those moments to strike while the lines are short. Let's talk about one of the biggest hidden gems in the park, the Untrainable Dragon stage show. And trust us, while there's no right or wrong of where you should sit, wherever you end up could make a huge difference. For a front and center, fully immersive experience, follow the main entrance path all the way down to the front row of the theater. You'll be right in the middle of the action, close to the stage, and truly feel part of the performance. For a cinematic, wide-angle view of the show and Toothless's epic entrance, stick to the inner wall as you enter the theater. Look for an opening in the stone wall. It'll lead you to the second level. Grab a spot in the front row of this upper tier and you'll get an incredible full theater perspective, perfect for catching the big picture and dramatic visuals. No matter where you sit, it's a fantastic show, but now you can tailor the experience based on how you want to take it in. Now let's cruise over to the epicenter of Epic Universe, Celestial Park, home to the incredible Stardust Racers. Although there's no official date on this, but we've ridden Stardust Racers multiple times. Same row, both tracks, and hands down the green side delivers a wilder ride. While both coasters run nearly simultaneously and finish within milliseconds of each other, the green track gives you more airtime, sharper twists, and just feels more intense overall. It's like riding a totally different coaster. Wait times here tend to be shorter than the other major rides in the park. So after your first ride, bypass the lockers and jump right back into line. You'll likely be able to ride again with very little wait, and you'll bypass a large group of people just by not having to put your items back into a locker.
Let's talk about food, because no one wants to waste valuable park time standing in line for a snack. Here's the trick: use mobile ordering. You can browse menus and place your order while you're in a ride queue, and then select "I'm here" when you arrive at the restaurant. As soon as you scan the QR code at the table, your food will start being prepared. This simple move can save you tons of time during peak dining hours, and is a great way to stay ahead of the crowds. And that's a wrap on our Epic Universe tips and tricks. Whether you're racing through Celestial Park, dodging dragons in Berk, or snagging that golden virtual queue pass in the Wizarding World, we hope these strategies help you save time, skip stress, and seriously level up your visit. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more theme park guides and updates, and drop a comment below with your best tips. Or let us know which land you're most excited to explore. We've got more Epic Universe content coming your way, so hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see you in the next adventure.